Welcome. And the question today from D.FFDDVVF is: what was a fact that you regret knowing? Hi, this is Derek. I just put the Drama Llama, Fred, back in his llama pen, so that I can do this quick video for you with some of the stuff that Fred found on Reddit earlier today. If this is your first time watching our videos, help me out by watching to the end, and then giving me some feedback in the comment area below. And if you want more of these videos daily, don't forget to like and subscribe, with notifications turned on for this channel. Oh boy, let's get ready for some drama. Jamjar Jack answered with something along the lines of: if a child is kidnapped and isn't recovered within 4 hours, there's an 80% chance they're already killed. Vergilian answered with the existence of dust mites. I have long since accepted that I am an ecosystem. Calamity J answered with from personal experience, just how fast pigs process a corpse. Had an old goat die in the barn and didn't find her for a couple of hours. At the time we had 2 pigs that were a few months old. Didn't realize just how much we had to F up by letting them be in with the goats that day. Come evening, we go to close up and do the evening chores, and find half of a goat spilled all over the floor with our pigs rooting around the guts. And that's the story of how 15 years old me learned to respect pigs. My mom's cousin interacted with a pig when she was 5. Many years later, it took very many surgical operations from a very talented doctor to make her face look acceptable. And there was no way to restore 2 lost fingers, of course. Seth's Woman Infinity answered with my dad and I both took DNA tests for fun, and I found out we aren't related. 0% match. Life hacks for when you don't want to tell your child directly they're adopted. Jenny Madison answered with there was a woman in the 18th century called Mary Toft, who stuffed dead rabbits into her vagina, and later acted as if she gave birth to them. The doctors believed her till one of them found corn in one of the rabbit's stomachs. It couldn't have been in there. She also did the same with a hog's bladder, and a cat's legs. Also with about 15 rabbits. Don't know why I even know this. Edit. Who the F found this helpful? Please don't put rabbits in your vagina, or any other hole. The corn in the rabbit's stomach is what tipped them off. Nick 9000 answered with sooner or later, we're going to be hit by another geomagnetic storm, like the Carrington event of 1859. Only this time, our dependence on technology could make the effects far worse. Fuselwe answered with Bob Ross actually hated his afro. When he started out, it was the cheapest hairstyle to maintain. And once he picked up some traction, it was too iconic to get rid of. This is the saddest thing I've read. I'm not going to share it with anyone. Now this is the burden I carry. About to get sadder, towards the end of his shows he wore a wig due to balding from chemo. Broke my heart when I read that. Alright, landlord answered with that my real mom is my sister, I'm adopted. I don't understand this at all. Can you please explain? Presumably they were adopted by their maternal grandparents, making their birth mother their sister. That's exactly right. As far back as I can remember, they had been open with me that I was adopted. But it wasn't until my adoptive mother/grandmother died, when I was in my early teens, that the whole can of worms opened. Corey Feldman answered with more people jumped from the burning World Trade Center on 9/11 than you think. Do yourself a favor and don't Google it. This is the fact I was going to post. Watching 9/11 on TV, I was too young to know what was going on, but I remember my dad crying and saying, they're jumping, over and over. Galactica Zero answered with the magnitude of how dirty hotel rooms are. Gaston Setter answered with I watched someone jump off the Stone Arch Bridge in Minneapolis, and saw them pee their pants right before they jumped. UJRT94 answered with Chainsaws were originally meant to be a surgeon's instrument. To aid in childbirth. No joke. Google it. This is going to give me nightmares until menopause. Rangers 85 answered with. Actor Daniel von Bargen, Super Troopers, Seinfeld, attempted suicide by shooting himself in the temple with a .38 revolver. He was diabetic and didn't want to go to the hospital for another amputation. Unfortunately, he survived and was severely wounded. He also was permanently blinded from the gunshot. There's a transcript of the police call that left me shook. He passed away 3 years later from a battle with diabetes. I remember reading this is why some people duct tape the gun to their hand if they attempt suicide, in case the first shot doesn't complete the job. Edit. For those asking why the duct tape, I believe the idea is that you can damage the part of your brain that affects your vision but not die from it. Then you are possibly disabled, blind, and in pain, but unable to finish what you started if you dropped or lost the gun. Not much fun to think about. The Zoidberg answered with. The Challenger space shuttle astronauts were most likely alive and awake on the way down. Pizinho answered with. That you have to clean lumps out from underneath a horse's foreskin from time to time. Tilly answered with. An octopus penis is actually one of their tentacles. So if you would go and pet an octopus at SeaWorld, or some other place, you could be groping their penis. Caffeine and Vodka answered with. The youngest recorded person to give birth was 5 years old. Susan PGH answered with. That my father died believing that I was not his child. When my mother told me, it broke my heart and has forever changed my relationship with my family. Crazy Meath answered with. Cockroaches can fly at 5 kilometers per hour and can live 3 weeks without their head. They eventually die of starvation. They have a main brain in their head, and also a primitive brain near their abdomen. Cockroaches also predate grass. The last one is not that scary but kinda scary. Knowing they've been here so long, so getting them out will be harder and they will probably outlive humans. LL Durban LL answered with. That people dump their old dogs at the shelter in December, and get a new puppy for Christmas. Lusty EXE answered with. Tapeworm faces are absolutely terrifying. Erix91 answered with. That my dad likely has terminal brain cancer. I was setting up his my chart for him and stumbled upon the information. Chuck U. Farley answered with. From my first job at KFC. You can't really tell the chicken is spoiled once you put it in the fryer. A friend that used to work at KFC said that they were told not to throw away the spoiled chicken. They would just boil it before frying. So yeah. No more KFC for me. Dr. 94 answered with. Every time you think of a fond memory, you rewrite that memory in your brain. And with time, it will slowly deviate more and more from what you originally remembered. Without you ever knowing it. McShaggy answered with. Because your body uses vitamin C to make collagen, which holds your skin together and makes scar tissue. When you get scurvy, your old wounds reopen. Workits answered with. Aneurysms can happen to anyone at any time for no reason, and can burst at any time for no reason. Swentasu answered with. The way rabies kills, once you have symptoms you're already dead. Agreeable Objective answered with. It's harder to recognize suicidal people than you'd think. I don't really regret knowing this, but it's a depressing fact nonetheless. Bravo Brackus answered with. That anesthesia doesn't always work. My colleague donated one of his kidneys to his brother, and he experienced the entire operation without being able to move or scream. Pain and all. Took many months of therapy moving on from this. Mrs. Morality answered with. That dolphin's gang rape. It's also widely believed that the males will commit infanticide. They will kill babies to free up the mother to mate with them. Advanced Hat 3548 answered with, someone tried and failed to save Abraham Lincoln, and his life just got worse from there. Glitchy Lag answered with, sorta cliche, but there are millions and billions of living organisms on your body, so to them, you are their galaxy. Salty Tapeworm answered with, the fact that at literally any second you could lose someone you love. Everyone knows this, but once it's happened a few times, you're acutely aware of it. A car wreck, a miscarriage, a heart attack, and stroke. Add to this how easily your entire life can be thrown off track and essentially ruined. One car accident, one divorce, one job loss, one terrible diagnosis. We all walk along the edge of a precipice. The lucky ones are the people who are unaware of this, because none of those terrible things have happened to them. Yet. Batgirl J answered with, that rats are really good swimmers and can come up/out of your toilet. Vla X Dan answered with, fairy tales for children were so much more violent in original. And finally, Wilfried Sarutu answered with, horses masturbated by hitting their 1 meter long dong against their bellies. Female horses rub against wooden poles, and end up with splinters 10 centimeters long in their coochie. Well, there you have it. A perfectly great question answered by a bunch of fine and honorable citizens. Help support this channel by smashing the like and subscribe buttons. And hit that silly little bell as well to ensure you get the latest videos as they come out. Fred is always finding stuff for me to post regularly. So this is Derek signing off. Thanks for watching. Good grief, it sounds like Fred is out of his pen again. I think he found more drama for me to share with you. See you soon.